Good job.
I'm going to say something provocative, and so I apologize in advance. Something that really stood out from the presentation was around removing the status from the status quo. And I think working in academia, we are surrounded by status all the time. PhDs, MBAs, our education system. How do you even begin to think about an environment like this to drop the status and be vulnerable?
Yes.
What advice do you have for this environment?
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And absolutely, you are in a very high status world. Very, very smart, very, very brilliant people. And in a very high status environment, what you have to do is try to remove the status as much as possible. So my best suggestion is to get more people drunk. Let me explain. See, in a very high status environment, when you're in that third hour, everybody lets their guard down. In that third hour, people start to open up about their vulnerabilities, of what they're concerned about. You actually get to understand their missions. You get to understand your mission more deeply as well. And the more that you can connect your mission with somebody else's mission, then you can work on something that's more disruptive together. And so the way to disarm folks is to understand them more and to ask dumber questions. And so that they don't think that you're trying to out-status them in a particular way. It's very hard to do, but just spend more time with people, or in long time durations, just to understand people more, and that's how you break status as much as possible. So that's one of my pieces of advice around that. That's a great question.
Thank you.
Yes, over here. Yeah.
Thanks, I'm glad I caught that. So in an environment, like the majority of us are public sector environment, I find that for us anyways, we experience a lot of fear of using generative AI or any other like innovative tools because everyone's waiting for government policy and governance to catch up before they have a comfort level of doing that, which is unfortunate. But like, what would be your recommendation or advice to this room around trying to be bold and innovative in an environment that's like heavily bureaucratic, that relies on process and like approval to proceed with muddy waters? Yeah.
Love that question. You know, yesterday I was with a number of public sector finance folks, and what really bugged me during the entire day is that we said, oh, we're in public sector, we're automatically 5-10 years behind. Why are we creating that mindset for ourselves? Why do we say that to ourselves? Why are we saying that we're behind? The beauty of this technology, especially when it comes to the generative AI, is that my 6-year-old can use it. And if my 6-year-old can design images, and my 6-year-old can put in things and get prompts, this technology is so democratic, it is so ubiquitous, it is so easy, that for the first time ever, there is no reason why you can't start experimenting and working in sandboxes and seeing what we can do with this technology. Every single institution across this country, most have open data. That's the first place that we can start to say, how do we start experimenting with this particular technology? And the more that we can start experimenting as individuals, instead of talking about this, saying, how can we use this in a positive way? And to me, when it comes to the public sector, I just believe that we need to change our mindset when it comes to innovation. I think we should stop saying that we're behind. That saying, hey, by the way, we used to be leading. We used to be leading the charge when it came to all these disruptive technologies. We created a lot of this stuff. We need to bring that back and that energy back. And that's why I'm incredibly bullish about this. It's because this technology is so easy to use that there is absolutely no excuse anymore. I just told you that the most disruptive entity in the world is the individual. We have everything at our fingertips. And if we in Canada don't figure this out, other countries around the world, they're just going to leapfrog us because the technology is so ubiquitous. So that's why I would say it is that. And the way to start is be that one person. Just be that one person in the room that starts. They start experimenting, and then you will bring people along with you. So I would say that's what I would say. Thank you so much. Great question. In the back, I think. There you go. No drops.
Thank you for your talk. Quite interesting, and just disrupting our thoughts around it is very interesting. But we have to come back to our offices and try to see how we can move forward with our organizations. How do we build a culture of innovation?
Yeah. It's a really great question. Building a culture of innovation is probably one of the hardest things that you can do. Here's a couple ways of doing this. Number one, I believe that within most institutions, most organizations, for example, one of the ways that we can incorporate more innovation or more innovative thinking is how we treat young people. You know, we want to hire really ambitious, innovative individuals, and when they come to our organization, I don't know what happens in the first week, but we suck out all those things from them. This is what happens in onboarding. We hire a really nice kid. His name is Connor. He's ambitious, he's driven, he's creative. He comes to our organization, and in the first week, we're like, we ingrain him with our processes or procedures, the manual textbook, and we put it in his DNA. And when he asks, hey, why do you do things the way that you do? We're like, shut up, rookie, learn the game. And this is a tragedy. I believe that as leaders in a world of disruption, that we almost have to take a step back and say, hey, Connor, what's a small experiment that you want to make this week? What's a small improvement that you want to make over this next couple of weeks? And what's going to happen is that Connor's going to go home to his mother, to his dog, to his partner, and be like, hey, I'm working for this organization. They've already asked me to make a change. They've already asked me to make an improvement. And what's going to happen, he's going to come back the second week, the third week, the fourth week with more ideas. You're going to literally change the culture of your organization in that first week. It's about empowering people more than ever before with the tools and the technologies, but most importantly, the permission to innovate. The reason why I love innovation is because it is permissionless. And the more that we can empower people within our organization with the environment where they can go off and take very small experiments and fail, that's the most empowering thing that you can do. The reason why most people don't innovate and the reason why we don't have a culture of innovation is because when you get slapped on the hand once for doing something and they get reprimanded, they will never do anything innovative or try anything ever again, because to be honest with you, it's going to impact their compensation or it's going to impact their upward mobility. And if we can remove those fears from them, that this is not going to impact your upward mobility, this is not going to impact your compensation. In fact, we are actually going to reward you for taking an experiment. We're going to reward you for taking a failure that you learned and that where you can share your learnings with other people. That's how you're going to create a culture of innovation, when innovation is permissionless. So I think those are some of the ways of really fostering a culture of innovation. Amazing question. Thank you so much.
Unfortunately, Shawn, I think we're
we're
out of time for questions. That was almost perfect timing.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Put our hands together.
Yes, thank you.